That's exactly right, okay? Okay? Now, are they going to publicly go forward and say that? But this now starts to get you to understand why that the techniques that they propose, hydrodynamicists like myself, knows right from the start that each one of those techniques is not going to work.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Very much so. Amazing. Yes, amazing. I'm so glad I called you.
Okay, well, all right. So the thing is that, for example, they put this crazy first top hat on the top of the thing. And when they put the top hat on the top of the thing, I'll now tell you something you start to understand. And they opened it up. All of a sudden, it iced up. There was ice there, okay?
The hydrites, right.
Well, it wasn't hydrates, so now let me tell you a fact about physics that people don't even think about, okay?
All right.
If I have a molecule, and I have a mass of this molecule, okay, it appears either in the form of a solid, okay?
Right.
Or a liquid, or a gas, isn't that right? Okay.
Right.
So if I take a substance which I've got some of this molecule in gaseous form, and I put it together with some that's in liquid form and some in solid form, I put this up, and I put this in a container, and I take it down, and it all gets pressurized, okay?
Right.
As the gas gets pressurized, it compresses, isn't that right?
Right.
It gets denser, okay? As the liquid it gets pressurized, it gets denser, isn't that right?
Right.
But not as much, and the solid gets denser. And there comes a depth at which is called the cripple point. Now listen very carefully, in which the density of the gas, the density of the liquid, and the density of the solid are the same.
Sure.
There is no way you're looking at a mass of material down at that depth and telling which of it is in fact gas that's been compressed, which is okay. So, if I have this material down in the lower foundation, which I don't know to what extent is part of a molecule which is gaseous, which is liquid when the pressure is reduced, and I bring that molecule up to the surface, all of a sudden, the part that's solid just stays solid, right?
Right.
The part that's liquid just gets to be a little denser, less liquid. What do you think the part that was gas does? It explodes.
Oh, sure.
Can you see that?
It would just go straight into the atmosphere and disperse.
Well, no, it would explode under the water.
Under the water.
Okay.
Just as the pressure was released on it, it's still pressurized. It's still combined with the other molecules. Or are we saying that each individual molecule?
It itself from all the other molecules. Stop and think about it. It's like what happens when you open a bottle of soda water. Okay, right?
Right.
Before you open the bottle of soda water, do you see any gas bubbles in the soda water?
No.
As soon as you open the bottle of soda water, what happens?
Oh, of course, everything.
The cork flies out, and the cork flies out and hits the wall. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes,
and
sir.
The bubbles all appear. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's what you have. You have a material that is going to behave like opening up a bottle of champagne or a cork when it gets close to the surface and doing it in explosive form. And you already know it's explosive. You told me what the pressure was down at that depth. What's the pressure at that depth? You already told me.
Well, 54,000 plus psi.
All right, so 54,000 psi. So I take a gas and I compress it with 54,000 psi, and now it occupies the same volume that it would occupy if it was a solid, right? Okay?
Correct.
And I carry that little cube with me and I keep it at that depth, okay? And all of a sudden I take that little cube and I lift it up to the surface. And what happens?
It explodes, like you said.
The gas explodes and now follows Boyle's law. You see that? EV with WRT, okay? You see that?
Yes, sir.
And that's what's happening to them. As this different stuff is coming out, it's converting itself as it comes out into liquid, solid, and gas, okay? And as they add other things to it, like mud, so they just change. Are you following me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think I am.
Yeah. So each time he says what they're going to do, I just sit down there and with my slide rule, because I still use a slide rule, I don't have to use a slide rule, but the slide rule is faster than the computer, okay? And I calculated the thing, I said, it's not going to work. So I say it's not going to work, do I get on the phone and try and call somebody? No. Because who am I going to call that's going to listen to me?
Well, sir, you seem to have an extraordinary command of the facts. Can I ask one question? I've been dying to ask.
Oh, by the way, you're a reporter and you're the free press. You can ask all the questions you want to ask, and I'm glad you got raised one, because I'll tell you what the answer is. I will give you the best answer, and the answer I will give you is going to be true. Okay, all right.
Well, sir.
Now, the problem is that I deal with a lot of classified programs.
Yes, sir.
So if people are trying to explore, and they'll ask me a question about a classified program, and I'll give them an answer which is true. However, in classified programs, we have what are known as cover stories. You know what a cover story is?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, when you do classified programs, the cover story, by the way, has to be true also. It has to be true. And the reason for that is that when they ask you a question, you can answer it truthfully, but you can answer it truthfully in terms of the cover story, which is true, you see, and you don't have to answer it in terms of the classified story. You see, that's a little technique we learn in our business.
Yes, sir. I caught that in your book as well. Okay, the question I'm going to ask right away. The deep submersion, or I should say the saturation diving technique. Now, I haven't read your book for a couple of months, and I have it here next to me, and before I called you the third time, I was simply going through it to find out. What is the maximum operating depth for saturation diving?
Oh, well, actually, the French have done it down to almost 1,000 meters. Okay.
Very good, sir.
Almost 3,000 feet. Actually, practically right now, the practical depth is about 1,000 feet, and the reason for that is that in saturation diving, there has to be a gas mixture that the diver can breathe. You see that? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And now, when at 1,000 feet, that gas, any gas you have, and it has to be mostly helium. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Or hydrogen. As a matter of fact, the gas they do use at that deep depth is what they call hydrox, which is a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. And you say, "What? Isn't that dangerous?" Well, you know something? It's not dangerous if it's under pressure. Hydrogen and oxygen under pressure. I did a whole report for the National Academy of Engineering. This is a pure-sided report entitled "Sparks and Flames in the Deep Ocean." Okay.
Right.
And what my report says is, oh, you know what my report says? There are no sparks and flames in the deep ocean.
Yes, sir. Well, another question, John. First of all, I can't thank you enough for taking the time, sir. When I read your book, I was so knocked out by it, and I realized the volume of knowledge you had to have stuffed into your head, and I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to talk to a man at 85 who is so clear and so cognizant of the facts and the research and the years behind you. I'm 55 and you're giving me hope for 80, sir. Big time.
Okay. One thing I haven't told you, I don't know if you knew it or not. Do you know that I was seriously injured a year ago with a serious brain injury?
No,
you don't know that.
No, sir, I did not know that.
And the reason it's important to say is that despite the serious brain injury, it has not affected my cognition. Let me tell you what it was. I was sitting in a hotel. I had just given a speech, the Craven speech I've been doing in my old age. I'll tell you what the title of that speech is. Humans as marine mammals, a most endangered species, okay?
Yes, sir. Humans as marine mammals was